Miles. See Shimani Fuller as they're setting a screen for Neesmith. On the low block. Fuller inside, and that's how you see the post start to work out for the Panthers to start this game.
Great job there, just getting the ball inside. Saw the help coming from the middle. Drop step, baseline, easy finish. Can't get much easier basket at the start. Great first possession here by Clark.
Both teams averaging over 70 points a game. But when you have a defensive player like Kyrie Kane in the post, it's going to be extremely difficult here for the Golden Bears.
Right now, Carter has him spaced out on the perimeter. It'd be interesting to see if they can keep him on the perimeter. You got to get him out of the paint.
First basket short by Truett Spencer. Clark Atlanta had a second half comeback in the semifinal game that they had. In the win over, as the basket is answered inside, Shimani Fuller. Clark Atlanta in that semifinal matchup against Benedict had a second half comeback to make their way to the finals.
Shimani Fuller is the second leading scorer for Clark Atlanta and catches it there, turns and faces, and shows you a little mid-range jumper there. Also showing you some versatility in the defensive end and switch.
Oh, straight line three from Michael Carter gets Miles on the board. Head coach Fred Watson talked about the versatility and the elite guard play that Clark Atlanta has. More so might deal with a 4-out, 1-in type of style defensively.
But you got to guard the three-point line. And I think that's the critical part there.
Fuller the hook, can't get it. Poke loose, recovered by the Bears.
Clark Atlanta has so many guys that can beat you from behind the three-point line, so switching and guarding the three-point line will be critical for him tonight.
Alvin Miles, top of the key, newcomer of the year in the SIAC. Corner three connects, and how about the threes to start for the Bears?
Great sign. Doesn't shoot the three great on the year, but when they do, they're very streaky. And
to the Miles team that makes at least 8 threes a game. The fadeaway off the mark by Martin. Miles directing traffic for Miles College. To the corner. Spencer, back out, wing three. Miles can't make it 3 for 3 from Miles College. Burst of speed from Martin. Working his way in, and basket counts, and the foul.
Great job by Martin there, just getting this up going early, crisp and simple. At that time, Miles College unable to set their defense. You got to locate and corral the ball when Martin's in transition there. Just so strong, takes the contact, kisses it off the glass and finishes with the end one here.
Martin completes the three-point play. This is the second matchup of the season between Clark Atlanta and Miles. Just one matchup a couple of weeks ago near the end of the season, which Miles won that battle. So knowing they took care of business once before, they've already figured it out a little bit, but when it comes to a championship game, you throw records out the window, you throw everything you did in the regular season out the window. It's all about what you can do right here throughout the week.
They're switching 1 through 4 on ball screens. I'm looking for Alvin Miles to eventually see that and then go switch with the 5-man. Run the ball screen with the 5-man to see how they guard with the center.
Traveling violation from Fuller, possession Miles College.
Good idea, pushing it up in transition there. And catching it in traffic, unable to get his feet up under him.
You see what took place in that last meeting, 61-58 Bears over the Panthers. Chris Martin came off the bench in that game. It's been a mix for Martin throughout the season, starting and coming off the bench, doing anything that head coach Alfred Jordan needs.
That's how you end up in situations like this, when you're unselfish. And when you're the player of the year and you're unselfish, your teammates will follow.
Miles fades away, air ball, Trotter couldn't keep it in bounds.
Miles is trying to pick his spots, but I think he has to penetrate a little bit more. He's driving the pass, tipping his hand a little bit. I think he has to just drive until they stop you. Pick and choose your moments and when to be aggressive.
You're already seeing a pretty chippy matchup here to start. I mean, there's so much on the line, especially for Miles as the defending champions. And Clark Atlanta with something to prove. The newcomers in year 1 for Alfred Jordan, the SIAC coach of the year. He's also an assistant a long time ago as Fuller gets it off the glass.
Fuller's off to a strong start, but back to Alfred, Coach Jordan there. He's familiar with this lead. There's a level of expectation that he has coming back, and he's quickly brought the standard back to Clark Atlanta.
Top of the key, here's Rylan Walker, guarded by Martin. Trotter, 8 to shoot. Miles drives. Oh, good deflection by Fuller. They tried to get it into Trotter, but couldn't. And that takes us to our first media timeout of the day. A 9-6 start for the Clark Atlanta Panthers.
Here we are with Shamani.
Live sports. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive articles and tools. Top leagues and tournaments. Best stories in sports. On ESPN Plus. Live sports. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library.
That's what NBA star Ja Morant told the Miles College Golden Bears after he donated his Nike Ja 1s to the entire team in the beginning of this season. Miles College athletic director actually has a relationship with Ja Morant's father and was able to get the hookup for the team.
Well, how about that for head coach Fred Watson, who is also the athletic director for Miles College, getting the hookup with Ja Morant and getting a hookup from T to get that to work.
I was getting ready to say, where are our shoes? I wear size 12. Simone, you holding out? You still got yours? You didn't tell us?
Well, actually, the coaches gave up their shoes for a couple of the players on the team whose shoes were too tight.
Talk about being unselfish from the coaches as play resumes here inside M-Market. Shamani Fuller, drawing a foul inside. So you're already seeing, instead of Kyrie Kane, Randolph, it's been Fuller, the 6'8 sophomore, that's been really handling things inside the post.
Well, Kane usually does his work on the defensive end. He scores mainly from guards, penetrations, and drop-off. It's going to be Shamani Fuller. He's the second leading scorer. He's catching into that mid-post right there. His ability to shoot that mid-range jumper, turn his face, and get to his spots as he draws another foul. He's off to a strong start. They like that matchup.
Already putting pressure inside. And Jarrell Rosser going to draw a foul. Going to take a foul, excuse me.
Rosser comes in, he spot minutes, and they don't get a lot of offensive production out of him, and he's coming in and has to draw that assignment. And it's always difficult when a guy has it going early like Fuller has to start this game, and then your job is to go in and try to cool him off.
So Fuller, who has been a leading charge throughout the season, 11.5 points a game, 57% from the field goal shooting, 60% free throw shooter.
Clark Atlanta, full court pressure here. This is what I thought. They did a really good job to turn things around against Benedict. They were down 14 in that game, and they started mixing it up, their pressure, going to their 3-2 zone, changing things a little bit. Enabled them to control the tempo.
Missed basket and the rebound by Kane. Panthers in transition. Martin gonna fire from long distance, short on the 3. Offensive rebound, gets it out. Stewart gets it to go. Andrew Stewart, the graduate from Chicago, and the twin of Elijah Stewart on the Panthers.
And he's the guy you got to get to. Forget the percentages. He's made 54 threes. He's the guy with the most made 3-pointers on the team. And right now, Miles College is struggling with their transition defense. They're not getting back. They're not getting matched up. They're unable to set their defense, and it's costing them here early. They were never set defensively, and so when you're not set defensively, you can't box out, you can't rebound. Best time to get an open 3 is after an offensive rebound. Stewart knocks that down.
Substitution for Miles as Todd Burt checks in for Jarrell Rosser. Baseline inbound, they get it to Burt. Miles in a bit of a scoring drought right now. Hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes. Down the lane, Chase Ballard, kick out, finds an open. Carter for 3 off the right.
Still not matched up in transition here.
Oh, good find. Fuller tried to jam it. On the other side, Spencer. Bears have numbers. Air ball in the 3 from Ballard. Fuller tried to outlet it. Instead, will reset.
Clark Atlanta seems to be in control of this game right now. They're getting the ball where they want, when they want. More importantly, they're setting the tempo. Shamani Fuller is trying to take a body home with that one. I mean, a little upset he didn't get the call, but maybe got away with one there. Get an 8th effort is my point. He's come out strong.
You may have heard that John Morant gave the shoes to Miles and he wanted to do a little jaw jam of his own.
Yeah, he wanted his own pair. He would have made that. John might have gave him a pair.
10-0 run right now for the Panthers. Step back jumper off the mark by Stewart. Offensive rebound putback no good from Xavier Griffith. Third time the charm inside the paint. And how about Griffith going to the line for one more?
If there's one concern that I had for Miles College, and I said this, we were talking before the game, they got multiple guys averaging nearly 30 minutes a game, and when you play 3 games in 4 days, you wonder about the fatigue coming in. And Clark Atlanta just looks like the fresher team. They do it in transition, a couple of offensive rebounds already. Xavier Griffin comes in off the bench, and he's able to get his own rebound again and get 2 offensive rebounds in 1 possession here and get himself to the line. Realistically,
when you get into the championship game, it is all hands on deck. You have legs that are just fatigued and everything as the 3-point play is complete. A 13-0 run now for the Panthers.
But Clark Atlanta has production coming from their bench. Xavier Griffin averages 8 points. Jalen Williams comes in, provides offense, so they have production from the offensive end of the floor, and more so with their depth.
From the elbow, short on the jumper is Burke. Struggles continuing from the field. Now 2 of 10 for Miles here to start this game. Martin fading back. Can't get that one to fall. Rebound Spencer.
Miles College just looks a little flat. They're not picking up the ball. You see the difference between the two. Clark Atlanta is engaged. You can feel them on the ball. Even though they're switching, they're active.
Burke can't hit the 3. Now a 5-minute scoring drought here for Miles.
I mean, the ball is getting into the 3-point line before they're engaging it. It's like they're trailing every play.
Oh, what a block from Burke. One thing as well, the 2 field goals that Miles has hit has been beyond the 3. They haven't even been able to get anything going inside the paint. How do you break that?
Well, I think we're talking about the presence of Kyrie Kane, the Defensive Player of the Year. They're trying to position him and leave him in the paint. They know his presence there inside, and he hasn't shown anything from a stat sheet standpoint, but if you watch him, he's lurking in the paint. They know he's there.
Got to look there at head coach Fred Watson for a moment. Nice find, Trotter. Still can't get the first field goal inside the post.
And I think you saw Kyrie Kane there comes and maybe shakes the backboard and got away with a potential goaltend there.
Nismet, oh, what a cross. Couldn't finish it. Rebound Spencer.
Miles College, just continue to run your offense. When you're struggling like this, get to the paint.
You see as Miles tried to do that and got tripped up. Foul call. It takes us to another media timeout. 17-6. Clark Atlanta taking advantage of Miles' struggles here early on in the first half.
Live
coming out early, controlling the paint. And a big reason for that is Shamani Fuller. He's coming out very first bucket inside, just spinning baseline away from the help. He catches it off the mid-post, seeing the help, faces up, knocking down the jumper. Here he drives from the top, he finishes. He's controlled this game early. He's controlled the paint on the offensive end of the floor. And the reason why the Panthers were up early, 11.
Fuller outscoring Miles College all on his own. He has 8. Miles College has 6, but has struggled shooting from the field. 2 of 12 shooting And you mentioned it already, Randolph, the presence of Kyrie Kane just makes it so difficult for the Bears, to really find anything inside.
What they're doing is they're trying to position him on guys that are non-threats from the three-point line. So every time someone drives, he's in the paint to challenge their shot.
Well, Alvin Miles finally gets the first field goal inside the three-point line for the Bears, and also snaps an almost 6-minute scoring drought.
He's the one guy that's been able to get in the paint and create. He's got to get really aggressive until Miles College. Things just slow down for his teammates.
Martin, the drive with the right hand, right side off the glass.
Martin tried to initiate contact there for the officials to make a call, and great job of the officials not falling for the bait.
Trotter kicks out, corner three, rolls out from Spencer.
Now the bigs for Miles College got to take over as well. They're switching five. They're catching the ball inside with some of the guards guarding them inside, and they're just passing it back out, taking threes.
Oh, how about the three from Jalen Williams? Simone Stanley has an injury update for Clark Atlanta.
Clark Atlanta guard Elijah Stewart has been nursing a torn meniscus in his left knee throughout the entire regular season. He has been limited throughout the tournament, so look for him to be taking breaks and getting treatment today.
Elijah Stewart coming off the bench, a twin brother of Andrew Stewart. Free throw line jumper connects as Chase Ballard gets that one to go. Midway through the first half in the men's SIAC basketball championships, a 10-point lead for the Panthers.
Miles College now is starting not to settle.
Right there you see the resilience as Corey Trotter forces a jump ball, possession Bears.
Clark Atlanta's controlled the paint early. The last couple of possessions now, Miles College is starting to get the ball in the paint. When you're struggling like this, you want to play inside out and not just settle for threes. They took a couple of threes early, hadn't made them. Now the ball is starting to touch the paint off the dribble, and even in post-ups.
The Bears have taken just as many shots inside the line as they have beyond the perimeter. 2 of 8 from downtown. Ballard has space, fires from mid-range, and now rebounded by the Panthers.
I'd like to see him maybe take one more dribble. I don't think there's much resistance getting there. If you see Kyrie Kane spaced out, I think that gives you an opportunity to get to the rim.
Missed basket off the left by Jalen Williams. Alvin Miles, mid-range, no. But as you're saying, Randolph, you want to see maybe an extra dribble or two.
Not just a dribble or two, you want to get to the rim. Right now they're taking, they say the mid-range shot is the most difficult shot in basketball. Right now everything is coming off the dribble. There's nothing in the flow of the offense. No one's creating. Everyone's trying to score themselves. You get back in this game by body movement, ball movement. Try to create a shot for someone else and not yourself.
I feel like the mid-range game is something that's been less and less seen throughout college basketball because you see more shots taken from beyond the perimeter.
Well, the analytics now are taking over. I'm still a firm believer in the mid-range shot. I think the biggest thing is that it's not practice at the space, at the pace and speed that you need to. But it's an important shot, particularly when you're dealing with a guy in the middle of the paint like Kyrie Kane. You can't challenge him at the rim and be successful. So a mid-range shots against a guy like that isn't a bad shot. But you also got to create shots for everyone else. Right now for Miles College, everything is off the dribble and everyone is creating for themselves.
Off the back iron, missed shot by Elijah Stewart, who's in.
And they're also playing against a set defense now. They're not getting anything out of their transition. That's a great job.
Miles for 3. No. But gets it right back. Double teamed. Finds Trotter. Spencer fires from long range, connects.
That's what we're talking about. Create a shot for someone else. Alvin Miles is second in the conference in assists. That time he hits a gap, draws help, finds Spencer for the 3.
8 minutes to go in the first half. Fuller. Elijah to Andrew Stewart. Corner 3, Elijah Stewart answers back for the Panthers.
Same thing there, just unselfish play now. Guys are starting to settle down a little bit. I think the emotions of playing for a championship, sometimes you start doing a little too much, trying to do too much. These last couple of possessions, you can see the ball moving a little bit more. Guys are starting to selfish.
Making a deep 2 instead for Clark Atlanta, but nonetheless, the Panthers are really applying pressure to the defending SIAC champs. And a traveling violation from Burt will take us to immediate timeout. Both sides trading threes in the early going.
Talking about driving and kicking and creating for teammates, this is what you want to see. Miles drives there, kicks it to Spencer. Not to be undone on the other end. Stewart says, I can do the same thing. Comes off, hits the guy, finds his brother who knocks down a corner 3. Got a 9-point game.
The score, Clark Atlanta leading over Miles here on ESPN Champ Week. As Miles, the defending champions, they're actually the standard bearer in the last couple of years. However, for Clark Atlanta, they've won 5 championships, and for head coach Alfred Jordan trying to get the Panthers back to that same level of success.
And he's had so much success in learning from Darryl Walker, a great player within his own right, and moving on a Little Rock, and Jordan's taken over now in his first year and coming back proving he's one of the better coaches in the league. And both coaches now, he's trying to wrestle that title away as the dominant program and trying to show, hey, there's a new boss in town.
Clark Atlanta maintains possession. Approaching 7 minutes to go in the first half. Mid-range jumper, short by Demetrius Hedspeth.
Monty Fuller, I love the unselfish pass, but he had it going early, and they got to score inside and take advantage of that switch.
Trotter can get that one inside, but punched in by Burt. How do you want to see Miles continue to work in the paint?
Well, that's just a great job there. They're switching 5. So that time when they're putting the point guard on the center, get the ball inside. A couple of times he's been skipping it outside, back on the perimeter, turn and score over the guards. They're coming in, you're catching them in rotation like that, and you get an offensive rebound as well. But you got to punish those switches.
So it's really taking advantage of the mismatches.
You got to take advantage of mismatch inside. Everything can't be perimeter or even right now. Like I said, your legs a little heavy. Get to the rim.
Oh, Fuller, well, that time fading away from mid-range. He has 10.
He has been unstoppable. I said last possession. I don't know why he passed it. And this time he didn't. I think he's in a zone right now. Every time he touches, I think the offense needs to run through him.
Ballard swatted away.
Got numbers.
2-on-1 for the Panthers. Williams behind the back, draws the foul and gets the bucket.
Great job there. Tip out. They had numbers all the way. Williams with a great move there. Going left, wrapping the back, behind the back, taking the contact to finish. It's a big-time play there.
My goodness. Talk about flashiness as well from Jalen Williams, a junior from Dallas, Texas.
And again, he's bringing that energy from the bench. And you and I just talked about the last break. That's something that we're going to have to monitor, the production from the bench. I think that Clark Atlanta has more production from their bench. And again, and people just know that the legs get heavy after a while.
Fadeaway shot by Miles, and he answers back. Now you're starting to see mid-range shots flow. And a steal. Spencer fires for 3. No, rolls out.
In and out for Spencer. He knocked down 1-3 earlier. That shot went halfway down and spun out. There's got to get somebody else to help create for Miles as well. Alvin Miles is the one guy that's continuously puts pressure on the defensive end. On the defense driving, and someone else is out to help create because he's going to have to score.
Ooh, great recovery by Hedspeth. Goes up with the right hand over Trotter.
The hands, are you kidding me? Catching that on the run. He saved the turnover. Not even to catch it, gather himself, and finish inside.
Trotter up top. Inside, Burt. Quick reaction from Miles.
Get the ball inside. If they want to continue to switch, continue to throw the ball inside.
Especially right now with Kane on the bench. You want to take advantage and get as many buckets inside. Hedspeth is a well defender at 6'8", but you don't have to worry about the defensive player of the year right now. Martin drives, absorbs contact over Trotter, short.
You got numbers. You got to push this here. You got numbers.
Miles takes it back out. Miles attacks, fades back, and right there, you don't have to worry about Kane. You can execute inside. Timeout call by Clark Atlanta.
Has been cutting on the baseline. He's not known for his offense, but great hands here on the cut. He gets it, saves his teammate from a turnover, and goes up and finishes. But not to be undone. Burt catches it on the roll, turns and finishes. Miles making a comeback, only down 7.
Live sport.
21, Clark Atlanta over Miles College. And if you're Miles College, you got to feel good about where you are right now, because there seems to be a lid on the basket right now. They're getting good looks, just unable to knock them down. Credit to Clark Atlanta. They're cleaning it up. They're giving them one shot, and they're rebounding it. But to be only down 7, you got to feel comfortable. But someone else from Miles College has got to step up and help this team out. Alvin Miles is just kind of doing it himself. He's creating everything. He's scoring, but doesn't have much help.
As you see some of the statistical categories that Clark Atlanta leads, you're right, Randolph. The Bears will need some help. Right now, Alvin Miles, 3 of 7 from the field with 6 points. Who do you want to see step up in this next stretch?
I think it has to be inside. If they're going to, you have to read what Clark Atlanta's doing, and they're switching right now. So they're switching. Expect their big guys to step up and make plays, whether it's Rosser or it's Horton. Somebody has to step up. Trotter's got to get himself going. He's a double-double guy. He's got to do a better job of punishing the switch.
Williams can't get it. It'll stay with Clark Atlanta. You were talking during the break how you liked how Todd Burt gave some valuable minutes off the bench in terms of post play.
He did.
That's one player that stepped up for Miles.
Well, he's the one guy. I thought Trotter was too unselfish when he caught the ball inside against the switches. Burt came in and was looking quickly to turn and score. And for a team that's struggling, sometimes, just go to guys, go to the hot hand. And Burt came in and gave him really good minutes.
Martin absorbs contact. Draws a foul.
He's lowering that shoulder when he turns the corner. Chris Martin putting so much pressure, forcing the officials to blow the whistle. Coach Watson didn't like the call. But he's turning that corner and forcing contact. Hadn't got the call a couple times early, but he got it that time.
And in addition to what you were saying about additional players stepping up for Miles, head coach Fred Watson, said that Alvin Miles had to change his game a little bit, had to be a little bit more unselfish and get other players involved. He was a 16, 17-point-a-game guy before he transferred in from a JUCO college. As the free throw connects with 3.5 to go, 29-21.
What you got to learn is this: you're a scorer. The more unselfish you are getting guys involved, the more it opens it up for you. And I think Alvin Miles is indicative of that. He's come out, he's trying to find opportunities for his teammates. And then when it's time for him to step on the gas like now and create, he's doing so.
Yeah, correction there on Miles. He scored more than that at his previous school. However, Coach Watson wants him to score to start the game, then kind of be more of a game manager and get everyone else involved. Then near the end, try to turn up that scoring a little bit more and take over.
You want him, he's essentially your closer. And he needs to do that because, when you're scoring a bunch, teams will start focusing on you. The more unselfish you are, you'll get guys involved. Now, what's happening is Clark Atlanta's switching 5.
Oh, how about Miles over Kane?
So when they switch 5, you just got to break your man down. And as good as Kyrie Kane is on the inside, I like the Alvin Miles matchup on the perimeter right there.
He now has 8 points. Straight line 3 from Fuller short. Kane had a piece of it knocked loose as Carter goes down.
Alvin Miles just identifying the switch. Hard one dribble left, pull up right in the mid-range. Just a rhythm shot there. Telling the defensive player of the year, you might be defensive player of the year, but you can't guard me out here.
That is 5'11" over a 6'10" on that basket.
Well, he's got to give him a cushion. He has an extra gear about him, and he loves going to that left hand and pulling up going left, and you got to know that on the scouting report.
Walker, got Neesmith to go down, and the floater connects. It's a 4-point game.
Great job turning the corner there by Riley Walker. Dips that shoulder, draws the contact, and that's a tough shot, shooting the floater going left with the right hand.
Wing three off the mark by Andrew Stewart.
Now Clark Atlanta starting to shoot the ball quickly. Not a lot of passing.
Oh, great awareness to keep that ball in play for Clark Atlanta. Neesmith working around inside. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Martin can't get it. Oh, the jam missed by Fuller. Panthers still have it. Martin finding Fuller. That time got it. Fuller with 12.
Great possession there by Clark Atlanta, sharing the basketball. Multiple guys are moving the basketball. 4 or 5 guys touched it. They got to get back to playing that. They had their way when the ball was moving. I think they got a little shot happy and started doing over-dribbling and shooting and let Miles College back in this game.
Panthers in transition off the missed basket by Miles. Martin open for three. No.
This game just feels like Clark Atlanta has just controlled it and dominated the game, and you look up and it's still a 2-possession game.
Miles up and under, he can't finish.
Now, Kyrie Kane will not get credit for the block, but you notice he knew he was there and tried to go under and use the rim for protection and spin it off the glass because he knew if he shot it on that ball side that the big man was coming to block it. And just the threat of a shot blocker sometimes changes your thought process when you get in there as a guard, and you can see it there.
Shot clock winding down. Naismith pull-up jumper, got it. Shot clock turned off. 33-25 Panthers.
So many guys from Clark Atlanta that can just beat you off the bounce and score. There's multiple guards that can do it. So far for Miles College, so much pressure's on Alvin Miles, and I want to see how he looks in the second half.
3 off the mark, and that will end the first half, but we may have some extra time as Kane got hit in the face.
Called a foul.
Mikael Carter called for the foul.
They're going to take a look at it. This could be a big call if they call a flagrant one. Sometimes you never know when the ball, when it comes to those face injuries, get hit in the face. And
see, for a moment there, you kind of see Spencer on the initial contact go in. That's where Kane may have gotten hit first, right there, the right hand. And then coming down, Carter was called for the foul. That's where it would have happened.
Yeah, I don't think it's a flagrant one. I think it's just going for the basketball. Sometimes when you get hit in the face area, it's automatic that. But, yeah, I don't think it's anything.
And now seeing that in slow-mo from that angle, the second impact there by Carter may have added on to it.
Yeah, I think you leave it as a common foul.
Well, they put 0.2 of a second on the clock.
This is one thing, if I could have my moment to kind of complain a little bit.
Go ahead.
I wish we could change this aspect of the game, and not it's for this moment. I think we can have one person at the scorer's table to kind of help facilitate these. Because, when it gets, let's just say this is the second half and this is late in the game, they tend to use it for an extra timeout. Like, hey, let's go out. No different than what we're doing right now and be like, hey, it's common foul, let's go.
Well, also, you mentioned something like that could happen in the second half. It could also cause some controversy. We saw in the Atlantic 10 women's basketball semifinal between Richmond and George Mason, where there was a call that was changed in the final second of the game, resulting in Richmond getting the win over George Mason and going to the championship.
No, it matters. And you see here now the foul was called, so they're shooting. They're going to shoot the 1-and-1 here.
And also the officials added more time on the clock, so 1.6 to go.
And the reason I say that, because you look at the timing of it as well, but it takes so much time it allows you to use almost like a extra timeout for staffs. Big free throws here.
Can't get it. A heave from Carter, And that will officially end the first half. The defending champions down 33-25 to Clark Atlanta. 1 half down here in the men's SIAC basketball championship.
Strong first half for Clark Atlanta. They came out, controlled the paint, took it out early. Maybe to hold on the lead right now, keep it at 8. Great job by Miles coming in.
Simone Stanley is standing by with Panthers head coach Alfred Jordan.
Coach, this is the team's first half lead of the tournament. Are you happy with the start?
Yes, I'm happy with the start, but you know my answer is it's all about the finish.
What's the message to the team?
Just stay the course. You know, it's a game of runs. Fred Watson is the godfather of the SIAC, so I'm sure he's going to go in and he's going to make adjustments. And I'm going to make adjustments to whatever he does. But, you know, like I've been telling you the whole week, what God got for us, nobody's going to take that from us right now.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
A challenge here against the defending champions. The Panthers win scoreless in the last 2:28 of the first half, but maintaining a 33-25 lead over Miles College. We'll talk first half stats and more after the break. You're watching ESPN's Champ Week, brought to you by Principal. (33-25) our score at the half inside In-Market Arena. Clark Atlanta with the lead over to the defending SIAC champions in Miles College. Danny Wall, and I'm joined with the SIAC commissioner, Dr. Anthony Holloman. Dr. Holloman, midway through, we just saw the women's final take place earlier with Miles Golden Bears, the Lady Bears winning the championship. How special is that when you have new teams winning their first conference title and starting to create some new memories?
You know, it's great for the conference. Miles was a participant in the championship game last year, and they came up a little short. But now to get over the hump, I know that's a great feeling for the program.
And we saw some career performances as well. A 30-point performance and a career high for Miles. And just what a game it was. You know, when you see Fuller, just have the game that she had. Kalia Greer, 33 points, the career high. I mean, when you see those moments and memories be had, what does that mean, seeing the hard work pay off?
You know, she took over the game in the second half. She just scored the first 7 points out of halftime, and she kept the pressure on, and she led her team.
And when you have that, it just makes for just what it means to have a bigger stage. It's the first time this season with the finals has been played inside In-Market Arena, right. The second consecutive year that Savannah has hosted the SIAC tournament. So how do you want to see that build moving forward in the next couple of years?
Well, we're excited for the opportunity to be at In-Market Arena, and Savannah has been a gracious host, and we're just looking forward to getting the word out, having more fan participation, and we look forward to participating in other ancillary events that will make the tournament what we think it can be.
Now for the Miles men's program, head coach Fred Watson, also the athletic director for Miles College, the defending champions. He's brought a lot of success to the SIAC. Yeah. So what does that mean for him to go back-to-back potentially here in this final?
Well, Coach Watson is, old hat. He won a couple of championships at Benedict College before coming to Miles, and I know he'll have his team prepared in the second half. But Coach Jordan and Clark Atlanta are looking good.
Final question for you, Dr. Holloman, as you continue to have championship week here presented by Principal, to continue to show a spotlight on HBCUs and the SIAC conference. I mean, how do you want to see this grow and expand moving forward?
Well, I want to thank our partners, Home Depot, Academy, Cricket, Coca-Cola, because that's, what makes it possible to have the financial support to host your tournament in a venue like this. And so we're just actively engaged in seeking new partners, and we are looking forward to the future.
Well, Dr. Holloman, we thank you once again for joining us. It's been a successful day, successful week in Savannah. Looking forward to seeing how the second half unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clark Atlanta, 33-25, the lead over the defending champions in Miles College. First half stats and more coming up after the break. You're watching Champ Week, presented by Principal.
Live.
Halftime inside In-Market, 33-25. Clark Atlanta leading over the defending SIAC champions in Miles College. Danny Wall, former NBA first-round pick, Randolph Childress. It took some time for Miles to kind of crack the code in scoring in the post against Clark Atlanta, but it seems like the Panthers have really controlled the entire first half. What have you seen?
They have. I think they've done it early by just attacking matchups, getting the ball inside. They controlled the glass early as well. And they had their way. I thought Miles College was uncertain of themselves on the defensive end of the floor, didn't communicate. They're settling down a little bit. You're starting to see that. They're starting to move the ball on the other end. They've gotten back in it. This game could have gotten away from them. They were down 12. They've cut the lead now. They're in it. Let's just see if they can just settle down, continue to stay within their offense. The problem is Clark Atlanta changes their defense so much, and they don't know why if they're switching it man to man, and then they're hedging on ball screens. They just got to get aggressive and move the ball and continue to share the basketball. Whoever gets it at that moment, take and make open shots. Don't turn the basketball over is the key to the rest of this game.
Also for Clark Atlanta, we talked about numerous players that can step up and lead,
right.
But Shimani Fuller, the sophomore, really getting things going early on in the first half. I mean, he has 12 points out of Clark Atlanta's 33 here in the first.
I mean, he has a game-high 12, and he's been the guy. I mean, it came out early. He set the tone. They went to him early on a post-up inside. He's controlled the paint on the offensive end of the floor for Clark Atlanta. And then Alvin Sims has been everything is advertised. Getting in the paint, shooting his mid-range shot. He loves to go left. I like to see them force him to his right hand a little bit more than they do. But he's getting assists. Someone else has to help him, though. I worry about him worrying it down with the amount of bodies that Clark Atlanta can throw at him. He's not a big guy. He's a small guard.
One thing that stands out looking at the first half stats, Miles took a lot of threes early because they couldn't figure out how to score in the paint. 3 of 13 from downtown. But now they're starting to figure things out. What do you want to see from the Bears in the second half?
Only take them when they're open. I think the problem with the threes they took earlier, the ball never got to the paint. They didn't force any rotation. I think they were just settling. Sometimes that's just nerves. This is a championship game. And it's champ week. There's a lot. You've been hearing about it. You've heard about it all year long. You're hearing about it all week. They're finally in the moment. They're starting to settle down. As they settle down, the ball started moving. Shots started falling. Let's see if they can continue that in the second half.
20 minutes down and 20 minutes to go. Well, Miles worked their way back to go back-to-back over Clark Atlanta. Reach back into the standard bearer that Alfred Jordan's trying to bring. Second half coming up after the break. You're watching Champ Week, brought to you by Principal. Coach Fred Watson.
Coach, what kind of defensive adjustments are needed to slow down Clark?
We're going to have to try to get the ball out number 11 hand early and then secure that first initial rebound. I mean, we're in the right positions, but number 11 making shots over the top. We're going to have to try to get the ball out of his hands.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Head coach Fred Watson gave us a lot of his accolades. I want to get off here because he really wants to make sure that he wants to showcase what HBCU basketball can do. So in 20 years overall as a head coach, Fred Watson has won 8 conference championships, 70% of the regular season championships. He's been a coach of the year 10 of 20 years. That is consistency out of anybody. And at Miles, he has won more games out of any college coach in the state of Alabama over the last 5 years.
You know what he's saying? He's saying, put some respect on my name.
Absolutely.
That's what he's saying.
Absolutely.
Winning is hard. I don't care what level you're playing it. And credit to him. He's exactly right. His resume stacks up with anybody. Not many teams are doing that in any league, and I don't care where you play. That is difficult to do, what you're looking at there.
As we are about to start the second half, and he kind of touched on it. Got to limit Shimani Fuller, who got going for Clark Atlanta. But with that, you can't forget about Chris Martin, the player of the year in a first-team All-SIAC selection. He can get going at any moment.
The Trotter here has to get going inside. He's a double-double guy, and he's a really willing passer. But he's turned down opportunities to score inside, and he's got to finish layups like that.
It is probably because of those extra passes why he's not able to get those buckets inside. That second chance isn't helping.
Well, he's not aggressive enough. He's looking to pass, and that's just a mindset. If he has opportunities there, I thought he had deep position. He could have turned to score. He's a really unselfish player, but you're talking about a guy that's a 12-point-a-game scorer and the second leading rebound in his league. And you know, when a team is scoring, you want to get inside to your inside guys to help. You know, he's part of the need to control the paint. Starts with Trotter. Miles is doing his part off the dribble.
Shimani Fuller picking up where he left off, now with 14 points in the game.
What makes him such a difficult cover is that he can turn and face. And if they're going to come and double, his ability to turn and face changes things. And he's also able to switch this ball screen like he is now. And
mid-range, in and out by Truett Spencer. Offensive rebound. Spencer gets it right back and kicks to Miles.
See, this is the difference between the two. When one of the guys come up, Clark Atlanta's doing a really good job of sending Shamani Fuller up, so if there's any ball screens, he's switching onto the ball.
Shot clock winding down. Miles gets space for three. Short. Tipped out. Recovered by Spencer. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. Miles guarded by Martin. Up and under. Draws a foul.
Great hesitation move there by Miles. Just turning the corner there, a little hezzy, taking the bump. Going to the line here for two. But the offensive rebounds is why that happened. I mean, they had multiple offensive rebounds that possession. A couple of times, a couple of the defenders for Clark Atlanta leaking out, trying to get out on the offensive transition, and can't run until you secure the rebound.
First free throw missed by Miles. Now, if you're Coach Alfred Jordan for Clark Atlanta, knowing you're facing the defending champs, how do you maintain this lead throughout the second half?
I think they can continue to do what they're doing. The guard play, they have the depth. They can have the production from their bench. And quite honestly, they've controlled the tempo of this game. I don't think they need to do anything different. They just can't turn the basketball over. And they got to make Miles College play against their set defense. They're getting the shot attempts that they want. They got multiple guys like this creating for himself and others.
Wow, Jalen Naismith with the fake in the finish will go to the line for one more.
And see, there's multiple guys. Here is Naismith doing it. You got Martin, you got Stewart. You got so many different guys that can beat you off the dribble. And right now with Miles College, we've only seen Alvin Miles do this. Just having another guy turning the corner, cut Trotter off the angle. There's nothing Trotter could do there. You just got to let him go. He gets the angle and beats you to the rim like that, and he picks up a foul, has to sit down.
That's a team effort. Three-point play completed. Everybody has scored for Clark Atlanta except for Kyrie Kane, who we've talked about. Randolph is more so going to be on the defensive side.
His presence, you hear his voice. He's communicating on the defensive end of the floor, protecting the paint, controlling the rim. See, now, they're doing a great job of that. They're keeping him inside to challenge. Ooh. He knows he's there.
Oh.
See, he altering these shots just by his presence and being there.
Let's get past to Spencer.
You've got to put him in ball screens as much as possible. Get him out of the paint. That time he gets drawn. There you go.
Drawing a foul. Five free throws from Michael Carter.
That time they were able to pull Kyrie Kane outside of the paint. Drove him on a perimeter and drew a foul. This feels like a dangerous moment here for Miles College. Again, they're running out of options to attack on the offensive end of the floor. They seem to be flushed with what Clark Atlanta's doing a really good job of keeping Kane in the paint and switching with the other four.
So substitution for Clark Atlanta as Naismith goes out. He's the only player in foul trouble, really, in this entire game. Naismith with 3 fouls. And on the other side for Miles, only player with 2 fouls is Jarrell Roster. So you talked about wanting to see some more physicality from Corey Trotter if he wants to be able to back down Kane.
Well, he has to. I mean, again, he's a double-double guy. Someone else has to pick up the offensive slack. I mean, I worry about Alvin Miles slowing down and just the fatigue because he's having to create everything. When he isn't scoring, he's got to create a system. Someone else is going to have to take some offensive responsibility to help him out because Clark Atlanta has multiple guys. We're talking about player of the year now. He gets to give the basketball up and figure out how he wants to attack a matchup.
Naismith back in, versus speed to the lane, and how about that?
Jalen Naismith splits the ball screen going right and drives. And again, that's the unselfishness we're talking about too of Chris Martin. Player of the year, he doesn't demand the ball. He gets off the ball, gives it to his teammate.
Miles couldn't hang on, recovered by Kane. Here is Martin, and there's the finish. Martin with 6, timeout Miles.
I think that was a fatigue turnover there by Alvin Miles to change direction, and Clark Atlanta's easy buckets at the rim. Jalen Naismith just splits the double team, goes down and lays it with the right, creates a turnover on a defensive end there. Shamani Fuller kicks it up to the player of the year, and he knows what to do and finishes. Clark Atlanta up 16 early in the second half.
Live.
He's come out aggressive with the ball. Again, getting to his mid-range shot there. Really good at driving at the rim with his left hand, but he's also showing you here he splits with his right. He's had some foul trouble, but if he can stay out for a couple more minutes, I mean, look out. The last thing you want to see if you're Miles College is another guard. You spent so much time focusing on Chris Martin, the player of the year, and then another guy like Jalen Naismith comes in and he's hurting you.
How about the rebounds? Naismith is leading the Panthers with 6 rebounds in this game.
They're just controlling it. I think the paint is the biggest difference in the game. It's made Miles College one-dimensional. They started settling for jump shots, and they got to get stuff in the rim. They just inability to finish at the rim. You go in there, you've got to deal with Kyrie Kane, and then now Shamani Fuller's in there with his length as well, and it's giving Miles College guards a lot of trouble.
This is the biggest lead of the day for Clark Atlanta at 16 points. Possession stays with Miles.
Someone else besides Ivan Miles has to step up and make a shot. Too much hesitation.
Oh, and the deflection from Fuller, and there you go. It took so much time for Walker. And that would have been a good look from beyond the perimeter if he would have just caught and shot it.
Had a good shot, and again, he drives in there in the length and the shot blocking ability of the big guys inside. I mean, if it's not Fuller, it's Kyrie King.
Alvin Miles hits a corner 3. He has 12 points, and that's his first made triple. Martin, guarded by Spencer. Martin, kick out. Naismith, guarded by Alvin Miles. Shot clock winding down. Naismith fires for 3. Short. Rebounded by Walker.
Push tempo.
Correction, that was a deep 2. That was from Alvin Miles. Now Miles working down low. Kick out. Walker, corner 3. Got it! And that for sure is a 3 for the Bears.
You need it. We just talked about it. Got to have another guy step up. He turned down the jump shot his previous possession. That time, caught it in stride, stepped up, knocked down a 3.
Martin gets stopped. Fuller working inside. And how about the patience from Fuller inside over Burke?
They're going to have to send help eventually with him. Every time Fuller touches it, I'm assuming now you got to double him. There's just no one that can guard him.
Spencer, top of the key, guarded by Fuller. Nowhere to go. Miles, baseline drive towards contact. Can't get it over Fuller, rebounded by Kane.
We talk so much about Shamani Fuller on the offensive end. I think his ability to switch on the defensive end. Look out.
What a finish.
Wow.
Chris Martin.
Hanging in the air. But we talked about it. The defensive end of the floor is the versatility in what they're doing. Your game plan may be to try to attack Clark Atlanta inside, but you can't. They're just challenging everything at the rim. You got to get matched up because you can't allow the player of the year to get downhill and attack the paint like he does here. Draws contacts, up and underlay. Clark Atlanta having their way right now.
Live sport.
Head coach Jordan, not just a former assistant coach with the Panthers, but also a Clark Atlanta alum, trying to bring back prestige to this program here over the defending champions.
And I can tell you, coaching at your school as an alum, it means more. There's more pride about it, and you care more. It means more, and I can assure you, it's not just about winning it, but winning it at your alma mater makes it even more special. And I know he can't wait for the next 14 minutes and 39 seconds to evaporate.
With that being said, the Panthers have to take care of business and maintain that lead. We've seen some sparks from Miles, but it just seems like every time the Bears get something going, Clark Atlanta's right there. Case in point, the tip by Martin. Panthers have numbers. Martin at the corner. Martin to drive, fades back, can't get the friendly bounce. Fuller the miss, goes back up. No, what defense inside? And there's Corey Trotter, finally stepping up the way you wanted to see, Randolph.
Got to have a presence there. There's a lot of length inside. He's a below the rim big, and you can see the length of Clark Atlanta bothering him. And
another steal, outlet pass to Fuller. No foul. Possession Bears.
Yeah, Shamani Fuller's not liking a whistle the last 2 possessions. He thought there was contact, but I thought that was a good no call. He didn't possess the basketball yet. And Miles College has a right to that ball when it's in the air.
Carter to Ballard. And the low block Trotter. Going to work. Trotter. Oh, what a move on the right side. Corey Trotter.
That's what we've been asking for. You know, he's so unselfish there, using his body. Great drop step there, fake baseline, coming middle for the reverse layup against Shamani Fuller.
Sophomore from Augusta, Georgia. Fuller, the answer back, fades away off the back iron, excuse me. Versus speed from Ballard.
We're talking so much about, but here's again.
Another steal. Andrew Stewart lays it in.
Miles College trying to push tempo. It's a couple of just careless turnovers here.
And that's one thing we haven't really seen, the points off of turnovers, and Clark Atlanta taking advantage of that here in the second half.
And they haven't done it. They haven't had a bunch of turnovers, but you can't have the pick sixes. You can't have them where they just instantly turn into 2 points. And when they've turned it over, Clark Atlanta's made them pay. Shamani Fuller's tugged his jersey, telling coach he needs a break. He's really working on both ends of the floor.
Neesmith, shot rolls out. Miles has it. Versus speed, trying to get to the lane. Kick out. Ballard open for 3. No. Rebound Trotter. Keeps it in bounds. However, Martin gets it. Hard foul. And Carter doesn't like the call. That'll take us to immediate timeout. Clark Atlanta. Correction. We'll stay right here, but how about the play from Corey Trotter?
Great move here. I mean, he takes it, he drives, he gets to that right hand, and again, he uses the rim as protections so Fuller can't block his shot. And we've been asking for more of this, and Miles College needs another guy that they can run their offense through if they want to get back in this game. And we talked about Trotter being a double-double guy. He can be that guy and scoring inside.
Yeah, Trotter's friends and family in attendance. Trotter played high school basketball in Augusta, Georgia at Cross Creek. One of the selling points that head coach Fred Watson told to get him to come here. Naismith draws the foul inside, and that'll take us to immediate timeout. Clark Atlanta, a 15-point lead, under 12 to go.
Live
Atlanta, everywhere they go, and he's having a good time as the Panthers a 15-point lead over Miles College. And the player of the year, Chris Martin, starting to heat up here, Randolph.
He is, and he's doing a great job of getting downhill, getting in the paint. I mean, he's driving and catching it in transition. They're not corralling him and leaving him one-on-one, and no one in this league is guarding him one-on-one. 6-0 run there by himself, just finishing inside. And I thought he's been unselfish a lot. He's not forcing anything. A couple of times he's given the ball up. I think if Jalen Naismith's at the free throw line, he's just deferred. Hey, I'll play off the ball, you dominate the ball, and he's picking and choosing his moments. And that's why I think one of the reasons why he's player of the year. He's just so unselfish, whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench. And that's what championship leadership looks like. If you want to win a championship or you want to win a conference tournament, you need your best player to be like this. Hey, whether I'm starting, whether I'm off the bench, no, you got to go and you take the ball, and he's leading this team in multiple ways here this afternoon.
I wanted to know, have you ever had or seen a player of the year that hasn't spent the entirety of the year in the starting lineup? I mean, Martin spent half the season coming off the bench, and the production that he's done for the Panthers, still named player of the year.
Well, when you're productive, it doesn't matter. Again, I mean, when you're averaging 18 points a game, it doesn't matter.
Free throw line jumper off the mark and missed by Ballard. Rebounded by the Panthers and Hedspeth.
That's so even just now. Now Stewart's back playing point. Naismith comes off the ball. He gives up the ball. So now they got a three-headed lineup right now with all three of these guards for Clark Atlanta can beat you off the bounce.
Naismith fades away on the low block, and how about that? A 19-point lead for the Panthers, their largest tonight.
I think there's enough time in the game. Miles College is going to have to do something defensively differently. I don't know if it's zone, change matchups, but right now, offensively, you got to do more than put the ball in the Alvin Miles' hands and try to get him. This is their offense right now. And I think this is why they're in a difficult situation. The game for them is right now.
So Alvin Miles will go to the foul line. Simone Stanley listened in to the Bears huddle during the timeout.
Coach Watson told the Golden Bears, we have to have some fight in us. He said everyone can't be front runners. He told the team that we have to force Clark to take the shots that we want them to take. He said right now they're taking the shots that they want. That is not our defense.
You can tell that Coach Watson is frustrated. We found out that he meditates after the first half ends, and probably a lot of meditation. I mean, one of the keys he said entering this championship game, as far as the keys, he said, well, first is prayer, then is preparation, then put together a plan, then more prayer.
Yeah, well, he's going to need a little bit more prayer right now to play some defense to stop these guards. And Simone, you and I talked right before the game, and we were talking, and I mentioned that I was concerned about the minutes played by the starters for Miles College and the difference in the bench and the production. That Clark just looks like the fresher team.
Clark is the team that's being hunted. A lot of teams around the SIAC look at Clark Atlanta as the bad boys. So Clark Atlanta came out today knowing they were going to have a target on their back.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, they're backing it up.
Boys.
The bad boy, they're backing it up.
Bringing back Pistons days.
They are backing it up.
I mean, we don't want to get too deep into it, but we know how feisty the Panthers can be as the missed three from Naismith had a couple of antics after their quarterfinal win over Savannah State. But that just shows that, hey, if we're gonna be the ones that are gonna be hunted, bring it on.
There's a swagger and a confidence with the group right now, and I think the matchup and the lineup, not just with the three guards, but having Fuller and Kane defensively, they're controlling the interior on both ends of the floor.
Miles, pull-up jumper off the front iron, rebound Martin. Midway through the second half, a 17-point lead for Clark Atlanta.
I think right now, this is the game right now for Miles. I know we're halfway through. There's a lot of time left. But Miles College is just struggling right now. There's a confidence with Clark Atlanta. There's multiple guys. They just don't have an answer. No one has been able to guard Fuller all afternoon. He's had his way. He's going to spin back.
Oh, too much time. Shot clock violation. Didn't see how much time he had.
He was looking for the double team, peeping to see, telling coach that was my mistake. Said, I got to shoot it.
It's only the second turnover of the half for the Panthers, so they're also playing sound basketball here as well.
They haven't turned it over much. You know, it's only 4 for the game, and they're getting up shot attempts, so even when they struggled, and someone else stepping up, finally making a shot.
Ballard for three. And that's just the first made three for Ballard. He only has 5 points. Really hasn't been anybody that stepped up outside of Alvin Miles. Rylan Walker has 8, but outside of that, there's no one else able to really find some consistency. Corner three off the mark by Andrew Stewart.
Ballard provides some toughness for this group, and they're going to need it now.
Miles, kick out, Walker, Ballard, mid-range. No, rebound Fuller.
I thought they missed an opportunity there. They got to read the defense and see that Clark Atlanta switching 5. That time Trotter had the point guard on him, had Stewart on him, and I thought they missed an opportunity to get him inside.
Kane in the corner, nowhere to go, guarded by Trotter. Kick out to Naismith, 8 to shoot. Naismith attacks, double team, 3 to shoot. Somehow works away, throws it up. And a traveling violation called. The shot won't count.
It's a lot of time left here, but a lot of dribbling on that possession. The sense of urgency's got to be now. Just keep chipping away. Got to get aggressive.
You're starting to hear Miles fans say it's not over. Trying to provide a spark. Trotter inside the paint. You got to go up right there.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you and I had the same look. I mean, you had Andrew Stewart at 6 foot down low. As a 6'7" post player, you have to be aggressive there. That takes us to immediate timeout. Clark Atlanta 52-38 lead over the defending champs. 52-38, Clark Atlanta the lead, as well as the Panthers leading in numerous honors in the SIAC. Chris Martin, Player of the Year. Kyrie Kane, Defensive Player of the Year. Head coach Alfred Jordan, Coach of the Year. And then you have Martin being a first-team All-SIAC selection. It just seemed like the perfect recipe, Randolph, for success here throughout the tournament.
The only thing that's missing is this championship game to stamp a great year and a lot of individual accomplishment. But you want this, finish this for the team. All those individual accolades are great, and everyone is shared in that. But you want everyone to share in hosting that trophy at the end of this game.
Well, for Miles, while there have been players sharing the basketball, you got to attack. And we talked a lot about Corey Trotter. You know, he had the 6 foot Andrew Stewart guarding him in the post.
Yes.
And Trotter's an 85% free throw shooter. You got to be aggressive there in the paint.
He's not looking to score. And it just puts so much more pressure on Sims. And he's turning the corner there. And again, you're not going to have a recipe for success attacking the defensive player of the year in a ball screen.
Missed 3 there by Walker.
So the play is to throw the ball inside the Trotter against the switch, and he's not looking to score. And he's got to know the sense of urgency right now that the team needs him now.
Martin, guarded by Ballard. Martin absorbs contact, short. Trotter, rather Burt, tried to keep it in bounds. However, possession stays with Clark Atlanta.
You got to secure that rebound, and Martin drives in there. He's so physical. He's colliding. He's displacing the bigs, and they're unable to secure the rebound. Guards got to come in and help.
Clark Atlanta in a scoring drought. No points in the last 4 minutes. Fuller trying to change that with the right hook. Kane had a piece of it out of bounds. Possession Miles.
Fuller did a better job in the first half, but just turning and facing up. He's trying to back Todd Burke down. Just turn and face him and use your quickness.
Top of the key, Burt finding Miles. Miles guarded by Kane. Drives. Foul.
Second time he's got Kane on a hesitation move. He knows he's got to double move the big guy. You got him in space on a switch. And that's the matchup, because I thought Fuller's done a really good job when they've gone, in switching 1 through 4. So you got to attack the 5. And either he goes or they got to throw it inside the Trotter inside to take advantage of the guard play. And since Trotter is unwilling to be aggressive, now the moment in this game right now belongs to Alvin Miles, and he's going to have to step up and be aggressive every time down the floor.
Free throws. He now has 15 in the game.
Staying in the man-to-man coverage. And
12-point.
Atlanta got so many options right now who they can give the ball to make a play.
A 12-point deficit here for Miles. Fuller, double team. Foul.
That's the difference right there. Turn their face, they can't guard him. Last 2 possessions, he touched it. He tried to back him in. That time he turned and faced and drew a foul. And if he turns and faces it, it's going to force Miles Collins to come double team him.
Andrew Stewart, baseline inbound. 6:20 to go in regulation. And a foul as Naismith gets tripped up.
Walker doesn't like the call. Yeah, their feet got tangled up coming over the screen. You hate to get that foul as a defender.
Panthers try again. Naismith up top. Kane hasn't even taken a shot in this game as Naismith takes another foul.
I mean, Kane only averages 5 points a game. So, and again, his impact is a lot of you don't even see on the stat sheet. Again, he's controlling the paint. He and Fuller have been a handful. Their length has bothered the guards and the bigs inside.
Fuller wants it down low. He gets it on a low block.
Turn and face. The pass.
Martin, the floater, gets a friendly bounce.
Good pass. Good cut by Martin. I think Fuller's been the best player on the floor this afternoon on both ends. I mean, his ability to switch 1 through 4 on the ball screens. He got Clark Atlanta going early in the first half and still continues to score.
Offensive rebound, Bears. Kick out to Burt. Ballard. Oh, good find to Trotter, but he doesn't go for it. Burt, though, rolls out.
I don't want to keep saying it because I feel like I'm picking on the young man, but
that's a good response, though.
Yes.
Defensively, trying to keep possession. I mean, that's just going to come with experience. Out of the starting 5, Trotter's the youngest one out there.
Yeah, and you don't mind. You want the unselfishness, but you just want him to identify when he has matchup. You want him to be a little bit more aggressive, and I think that's the part we're talking about, the inexperience of him not seeing that, hey, this team needs you now. Your guards are struggling against the length and the bigs inside, and you're capable of getting angles and finishing.
Oh, that was a good pass, but just off. Martin, corner 3, picks it up and misses. Foul as Walker goes down. Both sides in the bonus, so we'll have 1-and-1s at the line.
It's a bad foul. One, it's your 4th, and you're playing really, really well. And you also don't want to give up points with the clock running is the worst thing you can do right now. Up 14 with just over 5 minutes to play. Let's see if Miles College extends some full court pressure after these free throws.
Just the 1-and-1s missed. Offensive rebound, Trotter, kick out. Miles for 3 off the right side. Kane comes down with it, and he'll go to the line after drawing a foul.
Wow, that's a big difference there. Foul called and 1-and-1 opportunity. You missed it and commit a foul. Had a 3 there to cut it to 11 after an offensive rebound. Come up empty and commit a foul. Just a big swing here. You could potentially be up down 16 instead of a shot to cut it to 11. It's a 5-point play here, depending on the free throws from Kane.
And really, this is where Miles has to take advantage while Clark Atlanta in a bit of a drought. Hasn't even gotten it going from beyond the 3-point line. Just 1 for 9 in their last 9 shots from beyond the arc. 2 for 10 overall. Kane can't hit the 1-and-1. Rebound Trotter. 5 minutes to go in the men's SIAC basketball championship. Can the defending champs find a way to push through? Miles draws the foul. He'll shoot 2.
Great job by Miles getting into the body of Fuller. Great job getting the foul, getting to the free throw line. More importantly, stopping the clock.
One thing to keep in mind down the stretch, Clark Atlanta 3 timeouts left. Miles with 2. And you talked about Alvin Miles, not just in terms of scoring, but trying to get everybody else involved. So now we're hitting a home stretch of this game. And this is where head coach Fred Watson would usually tell Miles, hey, you can go start taking over and try to score some buckets.
Well, he has to. Now you're in the guts of the game. The game is now. It's not the last 2 minutes of this game. You got to go now. You're down. As we talked about, extending your full court pressure. I think Ballard's one of your better on-ball defenders, but it's difficult because Clark Atlanta has so many handlers. They're a difficult team to press. Fuller's ability to attack you off the dribble, pass.
Oh, Fuller! Basket counts. And the foul.
He's been the best player on the court. I think he's controlled this game on both ends of the floor. His length, his ability to switch. Here he is, helping off the bounce, breaking the press, attacking the rim, getting the and one. You want your better players to show up in the biggest games, and he's done his part.
Can't complete the 3-point play, though, but still a 14-point lead for the Panthers.
And this is what I'm talking about. He's switching on the ball screen here. And it dictates the...
Spencer can't hit the 3. Rebound Kane.
And he's dictating if you want to attack us, you got to attack the defensive player of the year at the 5, and you don't want to do that. now with the guards, you're just going to keep the ball in one of these guards' hands. It's going to be in Martin's or Stewart's or Naismith's hands.
A three-headed monster that you mentioned. Shot clock winding down. Fuller out to Martin. 5 to shoot. Martin trying to create some space. 2 to shoot. To the corner. Kane can't get it. That's Kane's first shot. And that takes it to our final media timeout of the day. Clark Atlanta, 14-point lead. Can they hang on to secure the SIAC Men's Basketball Championship? Find out after the break. Up inside Market Arena, 3:54 to go. Clark Atlanta in their first championship game in the SIAC since 2018. Trying to take it to the defending champions here in Miles College.
They're trying to take it back to the A.
Well, there's already one championship going back to Fairfield, Alabama, as the women's Lady Bears defeated Kentucky State in the women's SIAC championship earlier today. A nail-biter at the very end, 75-72 finish.
Great game. Great finish.
Can the men find the late comeback, and Miles is going to have to lead it. He now has 19 points.
Extending their pressure. Got to try to gamble and run and jump here. You can't let Clark Atlanta just run the clock down and then get into a ball screen or anything.
And you see the pressure by Rylan Walker on Naismith. 8 to shoot. Naismith, kick out to Fuller. To the corner. Long three off the mark. And rebounded by Truett Spencer.
Someone else here's got to make a play. You can't keep dribbling.
Spencer, oh! Well, there's one person to step up. A long three from Truett Spencer, and it's a single-digit deficit.
He's the best perimeter defender, but he's knocked down a couple of threes here. None bigger than that one there.
Martin absorbs contact, can't get it. Offensive rebound, Kane. Panthers will reset, and there's a foul by Spencer.
It's a great pull-up there. Just a hezzy dribble there. Spencer with knocking down a three. They're going to need more of that if they want to get back into this, and got to get stops. Just difficult to do with this. 3 guards out there now, all handlers there. That's a big missed free throw, and got to make your decisions quick. Early ball screens and read the defense. You don't have to have a 3.
Martin. Kick out.
That's what I mean with the defense of Fuller. His ability to switch on the ball and contain the dribble has been a major difference in this game.
Baseline inbound, 2:19 to go. Miles still threatening. They cut it within single digits, a foul, and Martin's going to the line.
You got to know he wants to go left, and he's so quick when he stops and pops to his mid-range, and you're fighting to chase him and can't put the brakes on, and he draws contact.
Personal question real quick, because you're saying that you got to get him to go to his left. Now, there's a lot of talk on Twitter about Michael Jordan. More so the reverse way. If you force him to go left, he doesn't really have a left. Do you see some similarities there with Alvin Miles?
No, I'm saying he likes to go left. For a right-handed guy, he likes going left. And you just got to know that and force him to go right. I mean, it's common for right-handed players to like to go left from a rhythm. When he has his preference, he likes to get to his left hand to get to his pull-up.
Outlet pass to Fuller. Fuller, tried to jam it in, missed. Trotter has it. The 7-point game. Spencer.
That's a big opportunity there. I thought he had a shot.
He's had the high hand. Miles, nobody home. Spencer fires for 3. Got it! Nothing but net! 4-point game. In a timeout from the Panthers. Don't count the Golden Bears out yet.
No hesitation that time. Truett Spencer there with a big shot. catches it in the air and shoots it with range. He's hit a couple of big shots this afternoon, but none bigger than that one. Cut it to 4. Closest they've been in quite some time.
Everything changes in the final 2 minutes of play, no matter what the score is. And we hear the passion from the Bears fans behind us screaming, it's not over. And that's proof right there. I mean, you said, Randolph, you wanted somebody else to step up. And lately, it's been Truett Spencer with some big threes.
He's come in and he just turned down a shot earlier, and he come back that time and just caught it in rhythm and just let it go. And you don't overthink this. He's hot right now. Put the ball in Alvin Miles' hands and let him create. If Spencer gets an opportunity, you tell him, hey, don't hesitate.
Both sides with 2 timeouts left, 1:51 to go. And both teams, the next foul will go into double bonus. Inbound to Fuller. Here's the pressure by the Bears.
Now this is where you see now the ball's going to be, I expect it to stay in Chris Martin's hand. Player of the year is taking you here. You're either going to ISO or give him a run-up ball screen. He's waving, he's clearing it out. Sometimes when your best players take you to the dance, you just want them to take you home.
Shot clock winding down. Martin, tough finish inside.
He's a closer. He's a closer. He just says, get out of the way. Bucket right now. I don't want a ball screen. I don't want any help. Just clear out the way and let me go.
Miles denied by Fuller. Final minute of play, and a foul will send Martin to the line. What a finish by the SIAC Player of the Year.
I think this play right here is indicative of what he's been all year long. You need a bucket, get on my back, I'm going to take you home. And I think the player of the game has been Fuller. And I think he's done it on both ends of the floor. He's alter shot. That block there may have been the icing on the cake here if Martin can knock down these free throws. A little time left, and you got to make free throws, but
Martin, 80% free throw shooter. So as we mentioned, both sides in a double bonus now. Martin splits a pair.
Does Miles have anything left?
59-52. Final minute of play for the men's SIAC championship. Timeout called by Fred Watson and the Bears.
Yeah, Coach Watson realized the importance of this possession. They got to get something out of it.
So now the players are starting to heat up.
Yes.
Do you go to Truett Spencer more, or do you still leave this game in the hands of Alvin Miles?
Well, I think you got to put the ball in your hands. You trust who's taking you here, and I think you put the ball in Alvin Miles' hands, but you may design a play to get Spencer an open three if you can.
And now you see this is more of a player-led conversation where your leaders have to step up for Clark Atlanta. And for Chris Martin, he's got to take some ownership because he split those free throws at the line.
Well, he's not afraid of the moment. He'll ask for the ball again. He's a 80% free throw shooter. He feels comfortable he'll make more than he misses. So
you are seeing a battle of the top 2 teams in the SIAC. Clark Atlanta, East Division champions. Miles College, West Division champion, and the defending SIAC tournament champions from last season. Clark Atlanta looking for their first championship since 2017. It will be the first under head coach Alfred Jordan, who won a couple of championships as an assistant coach. Here's how we got here. You see the tough battles in the semifinals for Clark Atlanta and in the semifinals for Miles College.
Well, they've come a long way. You talk about it's taking a game winner in a quarterfinal against Savannah State, which was a road game for them technically with the fans there.
3 short by Carter. Panthers have it.
You got to foul. You got to foul. You can't let them run the clock down.
Yeah, now you do. Simone Stanley got to listen in to the huddle during the Miles timeout.
Coach Watson told Rylan Walker he has to set up a screen for Alvin Miles to get a shot off. Obviously, that didn't work. It was Michael Carter who had to get it off.
First free throw connects for Jalen Naismith. He has 12.
He's been really solid, giving him double-digit production, whether he's starting or coming off the bench.
Gets a friendly bounce on the second. 9-point Panthers lead, 61-52. Shot and game clock separated by under 15. Alvin Miles drives. Underneath, can't get it past Kane, but draws a foul.
I think Kyrie Kane is saying, what did I do? He's like, I can't play any better than that. I thought he did a really good job of holding his ground, but I think what he doesn't realize is that what he understands is he didn't leave his feet, and you're no charge area in this contact. You got to go vertical. That's an automatic foul if there's contact and you don't leave your feet.
Miles has taken the majority of the free throws. He's now 9 for 11. Trotter going to check back in. Shot and game clock separated by 5 seconds.
Full court pressure here after the free throw. He makes it.
Misses it. Rebound Kane. He can't keep it in bounds. And Miles will keep it.
Clock Atlanta, you got to get that rebound.
Inbound to Trotter.
Got to go.
Miles stops and pops, corner three, got it! Quick inbound, Naismith gets fouled, he'll shoot 2. Shot clock turned off.
Yeah, they missed an opportunity there. Kyrie Kane's licking his tongue at the crowd. Just a heady play. He gets the inbound pass there, and as you see, Alvin Miles with a difficult corner 3 there. But they missed an opportunity after that 3 to commit a foul on Kyrie Kane, who's only a 60% free throw shooting. He gives it up to Naismith.
Naismith ties his season high of 14 points after the first make. Increases the Panther lead to 7. Just under 25 ticks to go in the championship. And a new season high of 15. 63-55, Clark Atlanta. Ballard, burst of speed. That's a deep 2. Off the back iron, punched out, recovered by the Bears. To the corner, Carter for 3. No. Stays in bounds. And now, it'll stay with Miles. Quick inbound, corner 3, Alvin Miles, no. Martin comes up with it. The Panthers have numbers. They're going to dribble it out. They give it to Fuller, the windmill, and that'll seal the deal. The championship is going to the A.
Clock Atlanta finishes the deal here in Chet Week. They were the better team tonight. They controlled this game from the opening tip. I know you're disappointed if you're Miles College, but the better team won today.
Clark Atlanta, champion of the SIAC for the first time since 2017, and the first for Alfred Jordan as the head coach of the program.
That's how you finish the year. You got coach of the year, you got player of the year, you got defensive player of the year, but nothing is more important than the team championship. Congratulations to Clark Atlanta. I thought they were just a better team from start to finish. And
everybody's fired up. I mean, Atlanta, they know how to throw a party, and they brought it down here to End Market.
They did. They brought the A to Savannah, Georgia.
They were the hunted entering this tournament, and they said, bring it on.
Yes, they did. They embraced the challenge. We're the #1 seed. Come get it.
And not to mention, the Panthers got their lick back. They lost in the regular season to Miles just a few weeks prior to the start of the tournament.
3-point game. You can tell they came out with a little bit of a vengeance. They were the more aggressive team. And
what a game for the Panthers. And led by Shimani Fuller with 20 points. Simone Stanley, is standing by with Fuller.
Shamani, in your first season at Clark Atlanta, you lead the team to a championship. How are you feeling right now?
Man, I'm overwhelmed right now. Last year I was in a bad situation, and man, nobody know what I've been through. I prayed every single day last year to be in a situation like this, and the man above is the only answer, bro. I work, and I work. I pray to God. I thank my mom, my dad, my family, everybody that supported me through the way, and God left it out here for me, and all I did was complete it.
You dropped 20 points tonight. What did you like about your matchup?
Man, all I see was food out here. I seen a championship. I wasn't going home without one.
And the championship is going back to the A. How does that sound?
I feel good. We back in the A, baby.
Clark Atlanta, first SIAC championship since 2017. Alfred Jordan, the SIAC Coach of the Year, and now you can add champion next to it as well. The Panthers are going dancing. The championship going to the A. Once again, our final score, 65-55, Clark Atlanta. For Randolph Childress and Simone Stanley and our entire crew, I'm Danny Wall. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Congratulations to the Clark Atlanta Panthers, 2024 SIAC Men's Basketball Champions. So long from Savannah, Georgia.
Y'all don't gotta shut it.
For those watching on ESPN Plus, we will continue live coverage of the championship celebration for the Clark Atlanta Panthers.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please focus your attention to midcourt as SIAC Commissioner Dr. Anthony Holloman presents our 2024 Conference Tournament Awards. Our first all-tournament team member from Benedict, Malachi McCoy. From Miles College, number 3, Alvin Miles. From Miles College, number 35, Corey Trotter. From Clark Atlanta University, number 0, Chris Martin. From Clark Atlanta University, number 4, Andrew Stewart. And your 2024 Tournament MVP, number 11, from Clark Atlanta, Shimani Fuller. Now presenting our runner-up trophy to the runner-up for the 2024 Conference Tournament, the Miles College Golden Bears. Ladies and gentlemen, the Miles College Golden Bears. And now presenting your 2024 Conference Tournament Champions, the Clark Atlanta University Panthers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Clark Atlanta University Panthers.
Live sports.